Greetings, my subscribers. That may be a little bit presumptuous to say, but this is an auspicious occasion, and I'm recording this very late at night, so I will seek most heartily to move this along as quickly as possible, so that I can actually get this out before midnight. Unlikely, but potentially possible. For those of you who don't know what SOTS is, it is in direct reference to today, which is Tuesday, January the 12th, 2016, which marks the annual State of the Union address given by the current President of the United States. And so I'm going to give today my State of the Sasquatch address, giving you an update on all the areas of my life, how they're going, why it is you haven't seen many videos, when you might expect to see more, and ultimately, just how it's going, you know? Alright. To begin with, as I always do in my life, faith comes first, and my personal belief this last year has been spectacular. I've been able to teach several home Bible studies, although most of you are not particularly interested in this, but I know some of them are. Some of you are. Not them, but you. You out there. Teach several home Bible studies, lead several people to the Lord. I've also been able to start preaching and helping out with a home missions church on Sunday afternoons, in addition to my own services on Sundays. I have completed my associate's program in Bible college. I read the entire Bible through 5 times plus this last year, which is the most I've ever read the Bible in 1 year ever. And I'm very, very proud of that fact. It really came about through a conviction that came upon me when listening to a man who'd been in the church only just a few short years and telling me that he did read his Bible every day, which was something when he told me I couldn't say. But he convicted me, and this last year I put it into practice and was able to read the entire Bible through all the way 5 times. I'm pleased beyond words to see that accomplishment come to pass. Yes. Like I said, I've also been preaching on a very regular basis. The last 3 weeks I've gone from sort of the opening act until last week they actually gave me an opening slot. Not the opening slot, but the keynote slot in preaching at the second service that I've been helping with. And very, very pleased to see that. I've heard good things. I can't exactly say what it was I was preaching on because my notes are abysmally short. I get a rough idea, and I just kind of let the Spirit take over from there, and it's good. And, well, at least I hope it is. People tell me it is, so I'll just kind of go with what they say. Personally, I have grown immensely. It is the almost redundant New Year's resolution every year for people to try and lose weight. I've never really been one to make New Year's resolutions, and last year was no exception. However, without a New Year's resolution, I did still manage to end the year 20 pounds lighter than when I started. I attribute this to partially something which came about as a result of faith. We were asked to go on a fast, and we were asked to go on just a Daniel's fast, which for those of you who don't know what that is, it's just giving up something that you enjoy. It can be giving up something as grandiose as just all meat and bread and just eating raw vegetables or soups or things like that made from it. Or it can be as simple as just giving up TV for an hour. For little kids who aren't quite familiar with fasting yet, it gives them a good way to get acquainted with the concept. However, before they called that fast, I've been feeling to go on a full entire fast, drinking only water, for quite some time at that point. And when we were asked to go on the fast, I felt it was the right time, so I went and I fasted that entire time, and I actually dropped 40 pounds in that, which was not my intention. And of course, immediately after getting off the fast, you started gaining it all back. But through the exercise and workout program, which I started also last year, and I'm continuing into this year, I was able to keep the extra 20 pounds off, which means I ended the year, like I said, 20 pounds down. So I'm very, very thankful that I was able to do that personally. It requires a lot of mental fortitude, more than I ever imagined, because it just so happened that while we were going through that fasting period, it was also barbecue season, and I am a grill fiend. And, yeah. It came to a point, not too deep into it, where I could tell what people were cooking on their grills, not just that they were in fact cooking, just by the smell. Like, oh, that house 4 streets over, they're cooking pork, and this one's 3 streets over, they're cooking beef. It was a little bit obsessive, but, it worked out. And ultimately, again, like I said, it led to more harvest, led to more good things coming about. One of the things I was fasting about specifically, because going back to faith a little bit, people who decide to fast, if you do, and I understand that not all of people who are watching this or listening to this are necessarily Christian and don't necessarily feel the need to fast, but those of you who are, don't fast lightly. Don't just do it because you want to. Don't just do it because it'd be a good idea or I want to try it out. When you fast, absolutely have a very specific thing in mind that you are fasting about. And make sure that your timing is right. Don't just start because you feel like it. Start only when you feel that God is calling you to do it, because otherwise it's not going to do you any good spiritually, and it probably will do you a lot of harm physically. But because of when I did it, I felt authorized, and I proceeded in a wise manner. Like I said, came out healthier for it, and I also got to bring 15 people to church with me, which I attribute directly to it, because when you fast and you start losing weight, and you start losing weight rapidly, people do notice that, and then they start to ask you, well, how are you doing that? Well, you're not supposed to tell them, but if they ask you a direct question, you can't exactly lie to them either. They said, well, why are you doing this? I said, well, we have an evangelist coming in. It ended up working out spectacularly. But yes, so physically, I'm ship-shape better than I've been in a great many years. Certainly better than I've been since I got sick in 2011. Like I said, I'm pleased beyond measure with how things have gone, both spiritually and personally. Business-wise, I wish it was better. There are some definite improvements to be had there, some definite opportunities I wish I'd capitalized on more, some definite frustrations which came up along the path, which hindered me greatly. I know a lot of you had heard that I wasn't going to buy a new computer to record things on until I got a car. Well, we got a car, and less than a month after we got the car, it was totaled. Not my fault. I'm not going to say whose fault it was, but it was definitely somebody's fault. And it is no longer amongst the living, driving vehicles, and we're actually about to go and get another one, probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks or so. And then computers would be back on the table, probably. There may be a couple other things. Also personal, going back a little bit to that, I did get to take a trip to Minnesota, which I mentioned several times before, I'm quite sure, and that was the highlight of my year. A lot of good things happened, but that was by far the best. I was able to meet up with a friend of mine who I met several years ago. I'm not even sure exactly how many, at least 8, back on an old site called Deviant Art, which I used to be a part of. Well, I guess my account is still active there, but I haven't been on in years. Well, maybe not years, maybe at least a year to even look and see what's going on there. The last time I was on, I thought it was quite dead around there, so I didn't really spend much time or pay much attention, and haven't really felt the inclination to go check again. But I met her back then, and it was one of those relationships that just sort of existed beyond just that singular site or that singular activity that we both participated in together. And we've kept in contact over the years, and she finally came to the States. She's from the Middle East, and we got to meet in Minnesota, and we got to do some crazy things. We took a canoe trip, which was the first one she'd ever been on before, and she clearly did not know how to steer it as well as I was hoping. Pretty much every time she was putting her oar in the water, I was putting mine in on the other side. I was sitting in the back, she's in the front. You know, she's supposed to be steering, and she's steering on the left side to go left, and we're going in right, and I'm like, oh dear. So, I got a really good workout that day, going down the river. We visited a cave, we went to the roller coaster park. By the way, if you go to visit Minnesota, I am a huge roller coaster fan, but even though it's owned by the same folks who own Cedar Point, don't go to Valley Fair. This is just my little addendum to you. Don't go there. It's nice, but you can do the entire park in probably less than an hour and a half. Maybe a little bit more than that, but not by much. And it's very, very tiny, very, very small, and it's really not worth the price of admission, unfortunately. I thought that was going to be the highlight of our trip, but as it turned out, the highlight of our trip was the canoe, and also the oh-so-beautiful Renaissance Fair, which was the first one I'd ever been to before. I'd heard a lot of mixed reviews on Renaissance Fairs in general over the years, so that I had sort of a bitter taste in my mouth even thinking about it. I'm like, oh, they're just going to charge you all kinds of money to go in there and do nothing, and they're going to try and charge you more money once you're in the gate, and I'm like, why do I even want to go there? But someone had told her to go, and so we went. As it turns out, it was absolutely one of the most fun singular experiences I've had this year, or this past year. We got to see a knife throwing and juggling troupe called the Danger Committee. They're on YouTube. I highly recommend you look them up. If I'm feeling very generous with my effort, and I remember to, I may actually include a link to their channel in the description down below with this video, because they are absolutely that good. They are definitely worth your time, and they have several videos on there which are very, very funny, and you can look them up otherwise. There's other people who have posted parts of their show, even some from the Renaissance Fair, which is, of course, what I saw originally. Very, very talented folks. Do things with knives I can't even imagine. Attempting, let alone pulling off successfully. And very, very funny, very, very witty, incredibly good entertainers. Anyway, back to my business. There are, like I said, some definite things I plan to improve on here in 2016. Not the least of which is my marketing of the 2 products I became newly licensed in this last year. Those of you who don't know, I work in finance. This last year became licensed with the state and federal governments to market and sell health insurance and investments, which are 2 major boons to my business, and I have actually seen quite some good things come from those already. Not as much as I would hope, of course, not as much as I would like, but better than I had without them. Far and away better than I had without them. This is actually still open enrollment, so those of you who don't have your health yet, most of you probably don't live in Michigan, and if you did, I'm not allowed to market it that way. So, and I'm not even going to tell you what company I work for in this because, legal reasons, but definitely do that before January 31st so you don't get any penalties incurred upon you, unless, of course, you are in one of the accepted groups, which, good on you, I guess. It's a mess otherwise. Also, business-wise, kind of, like I said, it was a very interesting year, but not a very good year overall. I made some major steps forward, but there was also some detractions. I had some people who I was working with who decided that I was not the one that they wanted to be working with anymore, and they went their own way and passed me by. Well, not really passed me by, but just walked out of it, and not in a good way. There's a right way and a wrong way to do things, and at least from my perspective, which is only when you're getting right here, their methodology and walking away from what we do was not the right way to do it, unfortunately. Anyway, those 3 things together have been affecting my gaming life, which is probably what most of you are interested in anyway. Well, that and YouTube, which will be my final point, but gaming first. Bought no new games all year long. Well, except I think Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate come out this year? I think it did. I'm not actually sure. That's how little I've been playing. I think altogether I have just over 300 hours on Monster on 4 Ultimate, and I'm into G2, but I have not yet fully completed G1. I've been using Sword and Shield Dual Blades. Those of you who's caught the last few episodes of the Triple Cart podcast. and I have not expanded beyond that at all. Haven't played it really more than a quest or two, and that was only one quest or two, not a quest or two here and there, but just one quest or two in about 3 or 4 months, unfortunately. I do still enjoy the game, still very much plan to complete it, which I have not yet, but life has become much busier with, again, business and my spiritual life taking off grandly, and again, some personal things coming up, which were very good and will continue to be good. I may actually have a chance to meet with the girl from the Middle East again in the near future. And those of you who are wondering, no, I'm not dating her. No. 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 I'm not dating anybody. Perhaps especially not her. If she hears this, I may get hit for that. But perhaps especially not her until at least I get my business up and running in a more complete capacity, which is, of course, my ultimate focus. Anyway, gaming. I did get some new games. I was gifted Minecraft Wii U and Splatoon and Xenoblade Chronicles X for Christmas, which is amazing. Very, very happy about that. I've been waiting to play Minecraft for years, although I was actually able to play it for at least about a month and a half before it came out for Wii U on my new phone, which I was very happy about as well. Those of you who follow me on Twitter may have seen several correspondences between myself and Kuya SGA about hashtag BigHole2015 and the beginnings of hashtag BigTower2016, which is something I'm doing on the mobile platform, although it did just recently get cut in half by my plans because world height on Pocket Edition is only 128 blocks, tragically. I was hoping for 256, and I had this beautiful tower planned out, and then they said, nope, world height is 128. Like, crap. I almost had it. But no. Anyway, so most of my gaming has been, the last several months has been Minecraft on mobile, just because it's there with me all the time. When I'm not driving, but when I'm riding someplace, or when I'm just waiting between appointments, I can go in and mine a few hundred blocks and wait for the next person to come in, which is pretty much how gaming is going for me right now. There are a couple times a week where I am able to play, but those have been actually wrapped up with someone, and that will actually relate more to the YouTube portion of this address in just a short moment here. I have Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I love it. Well, I don't love it. Well, I love that I have it. I haven't played it yet. I know it's quite blasphemy to those of you who have played it and know how good it is. I've heard nothing but glowing, glittering reviews about how wonderful of a game it is, but no, I haven't played it yet. I'm actually kind of waiting until I know a couple other people who have it, because I believe it's online multiplayer. I don't even know that for sure, because I haven't even really read the box. I just got it and like, yay! And then did nothing. Those of you who know how my Xenoblade Chronicles, the original Xenoblade Chronicles Let's Play on this channel went, you kind of know how that goes with me. I'm a bit of a schizophrenic when it comes. I'm a little bit schizophrenic when it comes to just focusing on games, with certain exceptions. Like, it takes a lot of focus to mine out the hole that I dug in Minecraft Pocket Edition. A lot of focus. I'll admit that. But I haven't applied that to everything. So, maybe if I did. But if I did, I would also be sacrificing time that I'm dedicating to other things. So, probably not real likely to happen, like I said, until I get someone else to play it with. If I can even do that. I'm still not entirely sure. I'll have to check that after this video, or someone in the comments down below can let me know. Anyway, have been playing Splatoon quite a bit with Kuya, and made a gigantic house on Minecraft Wii U on his server. Well, not his server, because you don't have independent servers, but you do have independent files and worlds that are loaded person by person, and have done great things with that. Well, trying to do great things. We haven't even gotten our way to the end yet. We've been in the Nether and died more times than I can count or care to recall. We've done horrible, horrible things to each other. He keeps threatening to kill my horse and burn my house down. I haven't really threatened to do anything to him yet, except maybe kill one of his dogs, but that wasn't really much of a threat. I think, because I'm never over at his house. He's always over at mine. He's trying to get ender pearls so we can find the end. But that's another story. Anyway, so gaming has been going interestingly. Slowly, fallen off quite a bit. Certainly not something I have put the focus on that I have in the past, or had the time to put the focus on as I have in the past, particularly when I was sick and not doing anything otherwise. But I think, given the comparison, given the choice between the two of, oh, I don't have time to play, or I don't have energy to do anything, I think I'll go with no time to play. Every day of the week, every chance I get. No exceptions, no questions. Just I'd rather have no time than no energy. Also, and this is kind of the one that may be of most importance, most interest to the greatest variety of you, YouTube, because that's what you're actually watching this on. Yes. YouTube. The last year I posted practically nothing. I think I did like 4 or 5 episodes of Monster Hunter, if that, and gave up on it because technical reasons. I didn't like the quality of video I was putting out. I did a couple Sasquatch speaks here and there. I did 3 commercials, which was really cool. I was actually about to do a 4th, and the guy I was going to do it for, I did the Volcano. I would technically consider the Volcano a commercial. I love that video. I also did the bootleg one-liner commercial. That was a joke between me and somebody else. And they said, yeah, I actually typed it all out to them and sent it to them. They said this should be a real commercial, and so now it kind of is. And the last one was actually for something with my church, and I never did upload the full completed version of that, but I may at some point. May try it next year, see if it does a better job than it did around the holiday season last year. Unfortunately, it was not as well received as I had hoped, mostly because I think the people who were displaying it actually at my church made some blunders in their display of it, and started it halfway through and only got like the last half of it up there, and people were like, oh, like, come on, it's not that hard, you just press play. Anyway, so I made 3 commercials and did practically nothing. Well, I guess I did make a 4th commercial because it did say make the coming soon to a Let's Play near you. I do intend to make that Let's Play. In fact, I have sat down and tried to record that several times. Every time I've come up with different issues. Still working off the old computer. I believe I mentioned that before. And so there are some days it just decides not to work. I did find a way to make it work more consistently by recording on my phone rather than on my computer, although I did have to find a recording program which records in MP3. Currently I'm recording this on my computer just for convenience sake and for sake of time, because I want to get this out as quickly as possible once I'm finished speaking. Yeah, it's not bad. Well, it sounds good, which is the difficult part. It sounds good, but it's very, very quiet, and I haven't found a good way to boost the volume on it yet. So I'll be continue to experiment with that, seeing if I can maneuver it out when I have time, of course being the qualifier to all of that. The video that I recorded comes out great. Unfortunately, like I said, there's no voiceover for it, which is, I think, the biggest part of my channel. I know a lot of people go, well, I just want the gameplay, or the gameplay is more important than what you're saying. I don't really want to build my channel that way, because if I was going to do that, I would just cut my voice out entirely, play something instrumental off the just play basically anything instrumental, because if you measure what is copyrighted against the entire body of work, which goes back to the 17 and 18, well, even farther back than that, the 14 and 1300s, it doesn't make a lot of sense for any of that to be copyrighted. Well, the newer stuff is, but most of the older stuff, so I could have a massive library of available music to just play over it. But that's not what I'm going to do. I want to continue developing my voice, because it's something that is, I think, one of one of my better features, unfortunately. And as bad as it is, it's about all I got. And by maintaining the ability to talk here, and also in every other aspect of my life, it all kind of comes together, and I do better in my business. I do better speaking in front of a church. I do better speaking on the internet. So all of it kind of works together and comes together in a much more complete package by just expanding that and continuing to use it, rather than just going, well, it's about the gameplay and just throwing that up there. I really, really prefer to keep myself speaking at all times, which you may have already been able to figure out because this is going on 25 minutes, or already past it. And I'm not done yet because, like I said, I am going to continue. I'm going to figure out the problems that I've had with the voice recording. I'm going to record that Let's Play. It shouldn't be a very long one, like maybe 25, 26 episodes. It's a very short game. I'm not going to say what it is for those of you who haven't figured it out yet, who don't know. So I don't want to spoil the surprise, but do keep that in the back of your mind. It will be turning up, hopefully, maybe sometime in February. That's kind of what I'm shooting for, as far as that. As far as the Shippecar podcast goes, because I know that there are a lot of people who are wondering, well, where has that been? Well, that's been taking the same dive as my regular channel has, only more so because it takes longer to do. And I've talked with Stoic about this a little bit, or actually quite a bit, several hours, I think, if you add it all up. We've decided that it's not dead, but we're not sure when it's going to start again. It's kind of on unbalanced, or not unbalanced, but indefinite hiatus. It's a really, there's some minor disagreements we're having on just like exactly how it should go forward. And I don't mean like we're fighting about it or anything, but we're just having a little bit of difficulty matching our independent visions for how it should go forward together. And so that plus difficulty of creating time for it has made it very, very challenging to get any episodes out. And like I said, I'm not really sure when there will be more. I'm assuming at some point there will be. I don't know. It's a bit of a toss up right now. And I know I've mentioned him a couple times before, but I but I will be doing something else in the very near future with Kuya SGA. I'll put formerly Dragix. I think I have him linked on my channel page. It's been a while since I checked that over too, and I'll be updating that as well, along with this update, or with this State of the Sasquatch address. I'll be updating it both in my video descriptions, so you'll be able to find his channel there, and also putting it on my main page because we've become pretty close the last couple months. He approached me with an offer, and I've taken him up on it so far, and we're working on getting that started. In some respect, I don't want to go too much into detail because I don't think it's entirely public knowledge yet, so just gonna let that go where it is. And we're gonna work in behind the scenes, and once it's all exactly where we want it to be, then we'll release it openly to the public, and it will be a grand thing. We are hoping. That's about it, I think. Like I said, faith, spirituality, I have gone leaps and bounds from over the last year. Physically, I'm a lot better than I have been before. Just so much more. I've made friends this year I would not have anticipated. I've come a lot closer to folks that I wanted to. Dripped away from some that I didn't want to, but that is life. There's a give and take to everything. Business-wise, not as great as I had hoped, but looking up. Looking very much up. There have been a couple things come up which are... I wish I could go into specific details, but I can't. but it's just say that it's a great thing going forward, and my situation is going to improve drastically this year. Gaming, like I said, it's something I enjoy doing when I get to do it. And YouTube is something I enjoy doing as well when I get to do that, which is less so than gaming. Well, I mean, it could be every time I go gaming, but there's just not... It's not that simple. Because gaming, you game. That's it. You turn it on, you play for a while, you turn it off. If you're going to do YouTube, you do whatever you're going to do, you edit for a certain period of time, you render it out, you upload it. It's a lot more involved process, a lot more steps, a lot more time taken to get it all to come together. So for the moment, YouTube is going to happen. It is going to happen, hopefully, like I said, by February. I'm hoping to start the new Let's Play. Like I said, it should be like 25, 26 episodes, and then I'm not sure what I'm going to do after that. I'm going to try and throw in some Sasquatch speaks here and there, because those are things that I really enjoy doing. I really wish I could just kind of open up and do this sort of talk on a regular basis, but I understand it's not something that most people are going to stick around and watch. So, on the one hand, I enjoy doing them. On the other hand, is it worth my time and effort to do them if nobody's going to watch them? And I'm not really sure how to quantify that. I mean, and it makes they do get better viewership when I have other things going up with them. But right now that's not really happening. So I'll just have to deal with it and go from there. Anyway, I thank you all for listening to the 2016 State of the Sasquatch Address. If you enjoyed it, if you want to see more of this, if you have any comments, want to tell me how your 2015 went, please do that in the description, in the comments down below. Like I said, description down below, I'll make sure I update it for Kuya, and I will make sure I put in the link to the Danger Committee YouTube page. I would highly, highly, highly recommend you go check out both of those channels. Kuya is doing a bunch of Minecraft stuff on there, which I think is very entertaining, because I've been watching Minecraft videos for years, and I just love it in general. So I'm biased. He's my friend. You know, it's a little bit of a bias, but I still recommend go checking him out. Subscribe to his channel, Danger Committee. Go check them out. They're awesome. They do all sorts of other things that you can find through their channel. So do that as well. So like I said, like on the video, put your comments down below. If this is your first time here, this was a weird video for you to step into. I know that, but if you liked it, you want to see more of it, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, there will be videos coming up from me. I'm not going to just drop out of the YouTube game forever, or even for a longer period of time than I can hold, or that I can prevent. So that's a long way of saying absolutely nothing. But that's what I do here. Long ways of saying absolutely nothing. And when you think about it, that's basically what I just told you the entire last half an hour. So thank you for giving me your time. I hope you all did enjoy. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.